Dun 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 dun. Okay, sorry guys, I had to. Hello everybody, welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. And yes, based off on that intro, we are going to be talking about the Scouser himself that doesn't get knocked out, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Man, you already know, bro. Whenever Paddy says that, bro, you already know Darren Till is punching the air, bro. But anyways, in this video, we're going to be talking about Paddy the Baddy himself. He got his third finish at UFC London this weekend, and UFC London was a great event. Although some of the outcomes were not that fun to watch, the energy from the crowd was just so amazing and unmatched. And it always seems like whenever there's UFC Fight Night event that is taking place outside of the US, whether it's in the UK or in Mexico or anywhere overseas, the energy is just always impeccable. Paddy Pimblett has taken the UFC by storm ever since he stepped foot into this company. He has been writing a lot of checks, and so far he has been cashing them. So let's look into his career, what he's good at as a fighter, and what he currently does that can elevate him to that standard that he sets himself to. So without further ado, let's get into it. The majority of the fight is a grappling fight, and if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm not the most educated when it comes to the grappling realm of MMA. I understand the stand-up very well. I just want to throw this out there before I talk about this because I don't want to be that type of person that just talks about things that I don't know. So I'm going to just speak on the things that I know. Everything else, if anybody can explain it to me in the comments, that would be nice. But let's get into the actual fight. Paddy did say that he didn't want to shoot for any takedowns during the fight. He wanted to stand and drop Jordan Leavitt pretty much in the first round.
And no, we're not talking about dropping it down like how Jordan drops it down. We're talking about knocking him out.
Jordan has an advantage when it comes to the wrestling, but on the feet, even though Jordan is not a great striker and he's more technical than Paddy, but I believe Paddy had the advantage on the feet solely because Paddy has more steam and aggressiveness when he's on his stand-up. And you can actually see during the fight too, like the kicks, the punches that Jordan was landing on the feet, they were nice and technical, but they weren't hard, powerful strikes. Whereas Paddy, every single strike he throws, he has the intentions of taking your head off. And in the first round, it was a close first round between the two of them. Jordan was pretty much fighting his fight with the wrestling pressure and timing his level changes and his single legs. But even though he had control of the majority of the round, he didn't do a lot of damage in my opinion. Whereas Paddy did more damage while having his back up against the cage in my opinion. He was defending the takedown, he was throwing knees, throwing elbows, and he had a good ending to round one. Paddy was also jumping guard, looking for multiple submissions in the round, trying to get a finish early, and in one of the guillotines, he actually got really close. And as the second round starts, Paddy's back was also up against the fence again, and as soon as Jordan drops down to shoot at Paddy's legs, Paddy kind of catches him in like a headlock, I believe, and he throws a knee at Jordan, which drops him, and then Paddy beautifully traps Jordan's arm, not allowing him to fight Paddy's hands, resulting in a rear naked choke finish. It was a really tough first round for Paddy, but he fought through it and he got the job done. It wasn't as easy and as clean as how he said it was going to look, but he got it done. He finished somebody that hasn't been finished in the UFC. So in my books, even though it wasn't his best, it was still impressive. So let's talk about what Paddy does best and what he doesn't do best. Obviously, Paddy is known for his notorious grappling. He has a slick jiu-jitsu game, and he's also phenomenal in his judo game as well, training with J-Flow Academy in San Diego. And to be honest, it's not a surprise to know that Paddy is known for being great on the ground as a submission artist. If you look at his finishes in Cage Warriors and now in the UFC, it wouldn't really shock you. Another thing that Paddy does well, in my opinion, is that he's very tough physically and mentally, as we have seen in many of his fights. In his debut in the UFC, Vedramini landed a big left hook on Paddy. And to be honest, I don't know how, but bro, that left hook that landed on Paddy, bro,
I guarantee you, bro, he lost 10 years out of his life and he was still standing.
He's had a lot of tough fights in the past, and he's not really one to fold very easily. He always perseveres and he always fights through everything. To me, it shows that he has that championship mindset of not giving up very easily, which is important if he wants to become a champion. However, even though Paddy is considered a great grappler, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard from other people, there's a lot of criticism in terms of Paddy's wrestling and his takedown defense. And if you look at his losses against Narimani and Soren Bach, those fights are a testament to that, where Paddy has spent too much time time on his back. And even though he's a great grappler, if you can avoid his submission threat and keep him down and get your offense going, then you can put him in trouble. So far, his takedown defense hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been great either, in my opinion. And he's still a great fighter at 27 years old, and he has a lot of time to cover up these massive holes in his game. So to me, he's always just getting better. He's putting in the effort to get better, and I believe we are going to continue to see him improve in areas that we need to see him improve in. And Paddy's biggest weakness in everyone's eyes is indeed his striking ability, as there's a lot of areas for improvement. His most common mistakes and flaws that I see in his game is that he has his chin wide up in the air along with his hands down, and he overcommits on strikes, and his striking defense is pretty much almost non-existent. Like, he barely moves at all. And Paddy, he has a tendency to exchange and throw heavy punches at his opponents coming forward. The dude is essentially wild, but it's something that can light a fire in him, but it can burn him as well. What I mean by that is, even though the Scouser himself, he loves to throw every shot with mean intentions, and he fully commits on everything. Against great strikers, he can easily get picked off apart and maybe even finished. But in my opinion, I believe it can work well in his favor. I remember Firas Zahabi talking about how you can make judo work in MMA with no gi, and he was using an example from Fedor, who's a great judoka, who was able to make his judo work in MMA, and he was explaining how Fedor would throw punches coming at his opponent to tie them up to establish his grips and try to get in a throw. Essentially, he was explaining how for judo to work, there needs to be chaos, and if you watch Paddy's fights, there's usually a lot going on. There's a lot of chaos in his game. So even though from a traditional textbook standpoint, his striking might not be top tier, but it could be top tier for what he's able to do. He might be able to throw punches, get guys to tie him up, and he could use his judo to get guys to the ground. Okay, so let's talk about something else that Paddy does extremely well outside of the cage, and that's his ability to become one of the most entertaining up-and-coming fighters in the UFC. Currently at the moment right now, Paddy Pimblett might not be a world champion just yet. But one thing that is for sure is that the dude is already a star. I mean, let's be honest, when is the last time a fighter has had this much attention and this much hype with only 2 to 3 fights in the UFC, minus Conor McGregor? And the thing is, bro, it's crazy how we're comparing Paddy's stardom to Conor McGregor, who's not only one of the best MMA fighters to ever live, but the biggest MMA fighter in history. Not even close. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm not kidding when I say Paddy has a chance to become the biggest star in the UFC ever, as long as he doesn't let it get to his head. If he doesn't let the fame, the money, the hype get to him, then we will remember Paddy Pimblett as somebody who is crazy and wild, but can also beat up people in the cage as well. Who is having 20,000 people at the O2 chanting,
"Oh, Paddy the Baddy,"
and having people in the audience wearing blonde wigs that you would get from your local Target with a Scouse accent? Exactly, nobody. Paddy has made 2 ring walks to the cage on a UFC Fight Night event, and it feels like it's a pay-per-view event every single time. And you can also tell Paddy has it in him when it comes to selling a fight. If you take a look at other fighters in the UFC who are more skilled than Paddy, most of them don't have the courage or the confidence to talk trash and sell a fight. Those fighters might be better than Paddy, but they will never reach the level or the route that Paddy is going because it's just simply boring and not entertaining. Take a look at some of the biggest superstars in the UFC. They're not only just good fighters, I'll tell you that. We're in a day and age where the excitement is a big part of the fighting world, and you need to have a balance of both skills and promotion to become a big superstar. And for the people that are saying,
"Oh, he's being disrespectful," or "Oh, he needs to be humbled, he talks too much,"
first of all, Paddy never crosses the line when it comes to talking trash. The dude is actually really respectful. He gives his props to everybody. He always shakes hands with fighters. He never goes overboard and talks about people's families or people's religion like Conor does. He only insults their physical appearance and their fighting style. And secondly, fighting is also a business. People don't care about the things that are not necessary when it comes to the fight. When they click $70 or $80 to buy that pay-per-view after coming home from work, the only thing that they want is to be entertained, and Paddy is certainly doing that right now. And the more entertaining you are, the more eyeballs you pull in. And that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I have to say. and let me know, does Paddy currently have the skills to become a champion? Are you entertained by everything that Paddy has done so far in the UFC? Drop a comment and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys can please get 3 likes on this video, that would be greatly appreciated. If you guys enjoy content that is related to combat sports, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate that. And other than that, it's been Steven signing out. Peace.